Not only is this a better deal compared to the GTI, but it also still has a manual transmission. The Ken Garff Volkswagen here in Orem, Utah is providing us with this Volkswagen GLI. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Let's get right into the review. Under the hood is a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual. Fuel economy is 26 around town, 36 on the highway, with power outputs being 228 horsepower and then 258 pound-feet of torque. If you're looking for more unbiased, straight-to-the-point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. Lots of really sharp lines there on the hood, and then you guys can see with the DRLs, I think that looks really sharp. Then you got a little GLI badge. And this is built off of the Jetta, but it's a Jetta with some lipstick. Get it? Because the red. I don't know, thought that was kind of funny. 225 by 45 by 18 for the tire and wheel setup. The wheels are completely blacked out, and then you can see we've got red with the brake caliper. You've got another GLI badge, the mirror caps are blacked out. And then here's your side profile, you've got these sedan setup. So it's gonna be a little bit longer than the GTI. Whenever you have cars in the same segment, the hatchback's always shorter than the sedan version. Now when it comes to the key fob, we have our lock and unlock. You got the opening for the trunk, Volkswagen logo on the back. And let's pop that trunk open. Oof, that was fast. You've got the tabs to fold down the seats, which is nice. We also have all this kind of like carpeting back here. Let's see if we do have a spare. It's pretty darn nice. But yeah, I mean, it's decently spacious. When you're all done, just plop. Now the taillight is all connected into this bar design. You've got the GLI badge there in the center. You also have a dual outlet exhaust tip set up, and that's the exterior. Let's now check out the interior. Regular windows throughout. This is not soft touch. This is not soft touch, but this right here is. I do like the handle design. Seats are perforated all down the center. You do have some kind of funky colors going on, I will say that. Legroom here in the back is pretty darn good. No storage pocket on this side, but we do have it over on the passenger side. Decent headroom overall. Let's now take a look up front. Keyless entry, by the way. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We've got soft touch here. I like this little trim piece inserted. Lots of nice stitching. More soft touch down below. Got all of our window controls, mirror adjustments as well. The seats are perforated all down the center. We do have power adjustments, memory seat function, lumbar support, and the front passenger seat, manual. The steering wheel is really cool. You've got this kind of like chunky design, perforated trim on either side. And then you notice practical controls on the front face. So for like the screen setup, your heated steering wheel, also your cruise control, as well as the volume controls. And then taking a look at the screen here, you can change the information that's displayed, just depends on what you're looking for. And you can also change the view. Again, it takes a lot from Audi's virtual cockpit design. Just a backup camera in reverse. And then the rest of the infotainment system, it's a pretty basic touchscreen system. You've got these kind of little shortcut buttons on either side. It's all relatively quick to respond. You do have physical toggles, or I should say dials rather, for the volume and the tuner button for the radio. This is where things get really nice in my opinion. So heated ventilated seats. We also have dual zone climate with this. You got some USB ports, little charging pad too, which is nice. And then we have a 12 volts, and then of course, manual transmission, which is great. Got your drive mode select right there. We've got some cup holders, center console. Nice trim there on the top. This does have a sunroof up front too. So here's a quick look at the window sticker. This one's an Autobahn. So you could get one that's more affordable if you don't want the loaded up one. But anyways, total MSRP in this one is $37,090. Let's take the GLI out and see how it performs. So let's set off in the GLI with the manual. Cannot get the GTI or the Golf R with a manual transmission anymore. And I imagine the next gen GLI is probably going to have automatic only. We'll see. Or if they even keep making it, right? Maybe they'll go all in on Golf stonks. I mean, I am excited for the next gen Golf R. It sounds like it's going to be really cool. Time will tell. Time will tell. But this is, you know, I've said this with the first review I did on this year. This is such an underrated Volkswagen because everyone pays more money for the GTI because it's a hatchback, right? It's cooler looking. But this is very practical. Again, built off of the Jetta, so it's just the sedan. Like really, Jetta's sedan, Golf is hatchback. Basically the same car. Basically the same car, okay? So you're getting essentially the same car, but you are spending less money because hype, right? It's all about hype. Hatchbacks are always just kind of more expensive in general. It's funny because they're smaller. I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize. You do get more vertical space, which is nice, but the overall length of the vehicle is shorter. So, depending on where they put things and everything, sometimes the hatchbacks can be more cramped in like the back seat area. It just depends on the manufacturer and everything. But yeah, I mean, this is a nice car. I think the seats are comfortable. I like how they have the little cloth insert here on the side. It goes from like the fake leather to the cloth. It's a very interesting take. The manual transmission is really easy to use. Pop it in sport mode here. It's there's not like a lot of feedback. It's very I don't know, synthetic feeling. Oh man. I guess we'll be able to get a little acceleration on the next road. I didn't realize it was gonna be this bad. Why is there so much traffic at this time of the day? Usually there's not traffic for like a couple hours from now. Oh, there's an accident behind. I can see the wee-woo lights. Must have slowed things down. Anyways, there's not a lot of feedback with this whole setup, with the transmission, with the clutch and everything. It's very synthetic feeling overall. Arizona drivers, they're like, I'm gonna get by, wait, now I'm gonna get by. But it's still nice to have a manual. It's still nice to roll the gears yourself. Pretty smooth coming up to a stop there. I think it's a nice drive. I like how it has cooled seats. And you look at a similar GTI and it's like, what, 43 grand now, MSRP? Just how it's always been. And the thing that's ironic is, yeah, people always go in and they buy the GTI, they buy the Golf R, and they don't even look at these. They don't even give it a chance whatsoever. It's got torque. It's not like a high horsepower engine. It's all about the torque. And it definitely has it. You get that, you know, you get a little bit of a boosted feel, then you get a shove, and it's fun. I like the drive of it. I think that low horsepower, high torque manuals are kind of underrated, and that's why I think that Mazda should put a manual in like their turbo Mazda 3, because it's nice to be able to go through the gears. Because this doesn't have a lot of horsepower, I can actually use multiple gears, versus you get a high horsepower car and it's like, boom, breaking the law. Whereas this, yeah, definitely takes a little bit more time. And look at that, I did not stall this once, even in my dress shoes. My fancy work dress shoes, they're not that fancy. So I'd say the clutch engagement's pretty darn good if I'm not stalling it. I was able to kind of perceive, and that's surprising for, like, if I'm gonna stall a manual, it's almost always a 2-liter 4-cylinder. Because, you know, you just don't have that much, you don't have that much initial torque to get this up and moving. So I think pretty darn impressive. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a GTI, I think you should at least go and drive a GLI and look at the numbers, of course, because I think a lot of you will be pleasantly surprised with the price difference. And the other thing is, I remember at one point, like, these were getting discounted and the GTIs weren't, and so the price difference was even bigger. It was crazy. It was like, you could either get a GTI, which is basically, again, the same car, for like, it was like 40 grand, or you could buy one of these for like 29. And people were still buying the GTIs. Cultists, right? Let me know your thoughts.